Guys, I have another wonderful guest, a data scientist, an AI researcher, and a pharmacist. Uh, Wuraola, how are you?
I'm doing great. How
Good,
are you
good, good.
too?
I'm good. I'm very good. Just let's start. Tell my audience who you are and what you do.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Wuraola Oyewusi. I'm a data scientist. I work. I work with. I do AI, artificial intelligence related tasks, and my background is in pharmacy. So that means I studied pharmacy in school.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you all.
Yes, yes. See, so data analyst, data scientist, uh, AI researcher, and pharmacist. How do you get to that space? Because they seem mainly different things. So how do you get there?
Okay. First, this is quite a popular question. Yeah. So, like I said, my background. Let me put this off. Okay. So, like I said, I graduated as a pharmacist.
Yeah.
So I started my career in clinical pharmacy,
Okay.
and I like to say that I got into AI data science purely by chance because I would say that if someone knew me in school, in
Hmm.
pharmacy school, uh, if um, if I owned maybe like a chain of community pharmacies, it would look more like me
Yeah.
right now. But I wasn't even a computer person, so I didn't think it was my thing.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's not like I know for certain people it's a long term, it's what they've been planning their whole life or something. This
Yeah.
wasn't something that I envisioned that this is what I'm going to do. But my when I started I got into data science and AI about 5 years ago. That was when I switched careers into data science and AI, and it was mostly by chance. It was purely by chance because I remember that I used to just read job descriptions. I used to just read what people are doing, and then I saw a job description that says data analyst, and I read everything on the list. I said I can do this, except the SQL. So some people call it SQL, some people call
Yeah.
it SQL.
Yeah.
So SQL is it's mostly a programming thing to like I said, oh, data is somewhere and we want to get
Data
it out, and
mining and
this is how
all
they
that.
do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I said, okay, let me check online. And then I saw a course about SQL. I said, oh, I can do this. I said, everything listed on this list, the name may be different, but there are things I do as a pharmacist. I analyze data,
Yeah.
I already project, I forecast, I do supply chain management, I do documentation. I'm detailed. I said, I can do this. So I decided to see what SQL was about. And I found it very interesting because so then an advert came for maybe Python, and then I thought, I think programming is mostly for people who seem creative. My thinking was that maybe people who make websites, you have to have great idea of colors and matching. It wasn't really my conversation. It wasn't
Yeah.
what I do. But then I said, okay, let me give this a shot. And then I did it, and then they said, oh, data science, that there's more data. These are some of the algorithms. And I said, oh, I think this is interesting. And then I bought my first online specialization.
Wow.
So I bought the complete course, and then I said, I'm going to give this a shot. And to be sincere, because it's a popular question that I get. It wasn't casual learning
Okay.
because that was the first time I was, yeah, it wasn't casual learning. I always try to be sincere. It's not like I was just taking a couple of courses. I went in. When I mean in, I went in because and it was I designed it as schooling because all the concepts are new to me. It's an entirely new field. So that means I was learning programming, I was learning math, I was learning the fundamentals of AI and machine learning. Interestingly, I came in at the time. I usually say tech is generous. So that means everything is online. Everything is online. So I designed the life around getting better at math, getting better at programming because like I said, it's not like I was programming before. And then, yeah, I'll say they said the,
Okay.
yeah.
So you said that you're learning data to be a data scientist was not a casual thing, that you had to dig deep into it. Okay, that's good. But for you to come from pharmacy and you were open to explore something very different, it's interesting, and it's something that more people need to avail themselves to, because the world we live in today, I don't know if we can say one thing and you be that same one thing for the next 30 years. It's difficult, and yeah, so that's why I'm so interested to know your journey. See, data in the last 20 years, data has increasingly become everything, okay, in our lives. uh when I was in banking, I got involved in data analysis, and it was very, very interesting to me. It came by chance too, and while I was in Nigeria, it was the most interesting work I ever did in banking. Okay, now it wasn't core banking, uh, but through data analysis, I got to learn everything in banking because I was opportune to analyze things in different area of the bank. So by looking at the numbers, okay, I got to learn everything about those products, those processes, and it was very, very, very interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah. So tell my audience more about data and its importance in our lives.
Okay. I think there's the well, I'm not going to say there's a popular question that people have, like what is this noise about data? Why is it suddenly important? Why are the conversations changing? Why is everyone acting as if, oh, you have to understand data? What has changed is that about 10 years ago, I'll probably not be speaking to Ekene on this platform like this.
Yeah.
What has changed and what makes data science, AI, why it seemed to be suddenly popular, even though you should know that people have been analyzing data. Yeah, people are smart at this. People have known their numbers, and organizations that have been able to derive insight from data, they've had like an upper hand over those who can't. So those are established things. People are mathematicians, people are, statisticians, people have been doing this. Why there's so much noise around this is that it's easier to analyze. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so it's easier to analyze data now. For example, many things that I do with AI, if I'm using deep learning algorithms, I want some form of GPU support for that. Now I can spin up instances on cloud services. I can use maybe Google Collaboratory on my laptop. It wasn't like that 10
Yeah.
years ago. So access has changed. And so people can compute more, people can try these algorithms. We can, most of the things that I know, I learned online. I'm a student of the internet.
Yeah.
And then we are generating much more data.
Yes, everything we do.
Yes, we are. So it's we're on Twitter, we're on social media, we are generating, and whether we like it or not, it's our lives, it's what we do. So the baseline is that people, organizations who understand data and how to derive insight from it, there's an edge over those who don't.
Yes.
And because there's more availability of data, more availability of compute, availability of knowledge, it's all life-changing they can be. It's just there. People are sharing, and it's nice.
I mean, see, ordinary people don't understand that everything we do, everything that happens in our world can be seen as data. Okay. And that's what
maybe I disagree with you.
Okay. Very good.
Because people have been forecasting before
Yes.
there are official words for it.
Yes.
There are farmers that know that when this type of birds come, it's like there's about to be a rainfall.
Yes.
There are people that say this is the time that we plant this, that we get the highest yield. It may not be as scientific as you think, but your forefathers, they've been at this. People have been making decisions based on data.
Yes.
It's how I open so many things that I've talked about that is as old as people.
I
the
agree.
food we eat, the food we eat, the decisions about this is tasty, this is poisonous, is from data.
Yes, I agree.
It may not be as fancy, but people are not dull. The people you interact with in the market, they may not be as sophisticated as you think, but they do understand data that
Yes.
around this time, this is what
now,
happens.
The difference now is that in the old days, the data is not it's not seen on a computer. It's based on people gather data and store them in their head based on what happened last year, what happened last 2 years ago, what happened 10 years ago, and they use all that to determine, okay, if this happens again, then this will happen, right? Good. Now, in that time, we have all that data in numbers, okay, on our computers, and we can use that to determine, okay, this happens and this happened. So next time this happens, that will happen. So, see, I'm a big basketball fan. Okay, I've been watching and listening to sports, especially basketball, for more than 20 years. Okay, now I may not see some games, but if I go and look at the box scores, I can basically tell you what happened in the game just by the numbers. I've been doing it for a long, long time. I look at the box scores, I can tell you what happened. I cannot tell you exactly how the plays were, but I can tell, okay, I can, because I know the players, and if I see the numbers, I will tell you what they did. Okay, so
exactly,
yeah, that's it. In fact, there are now computers that can look at the box scores and write a whole story about the game just from the data, and it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. So I saw your recent videos on first on LinkedIn, and then I went to your YouTube channel, okay, to look at the other videos. You were talking about teaching AI Yoruba, very, very interesting to me. The value of the work that you're doing, I can see it in 5-10 years time, and it's huge. Okay, so tell my audience how you got into this. We have already mentioned a little bit about that, but I'm interested in for you to tell us why, for example, you decided to do Yoruba, or maybe in future other African languages. What is the essence of this work you're doing to teach major African languages to AI?
Well, I'll say, if I'll be casual about it, it's just because I speak Yoruba very well, and I understand AI. It's mostly because
the way you speak Yoruba is interesting.
Yes, because I speak Yoruba most times, maybe beyond other languages, and so it's just because I can. It's I was just goofing. It's not, of course, I've done quite, because I've done quite a number of work applying AI techniques to Yoruba language.
Okay.
There's a subset of AI called natural language processing. Many of my work is I've done a lot of work with computer vision because my previous role in Nigeria is as lead researcher, and we did quite a range of range of projects. So, but there's no deep philosophical thing behind it. It's just what I speak, and it's just what I do. And like I said, some of my previous work may probably not appeal to the general public because it's mostly this is what this AI algorithm, this is what it does when you put it on Yoruba language. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing this is not I've been doing that maybe 2019. If you do this, this is what will happen with these algorithms. So it's not I'm going to say I'm not the newcomer in applying.
So my point is this: there are maybe up to 100 million people who speak Yoruba in Western Africa, maybe. Nigeria,
I don't have the numbers.
Togo, some, all this, up to Sierra Leone, so I'm just maybe less than that, but tens of millions of people, and many of them do not speak any other language. They speak Yoruba, and we in Africa, we want everybody to be able to use technology to enhance anything they do, maybe their business, farmers. See, there are things they can all use on their phones. And if they can speak directly to their phone in their languages, and an AI algorithm can take their speech to give them help to enhance their work. So what you're doing is, I was thinking about it. Wow, this lady is doing something that in 10 years will be very, very vital to millions of people. That's that.
There's a whole lot of research related to speech to text. There's speech part of AI, and there are communities that dedicated to making data sets that are African available for AI related tasks, for things like speech to text, text to speech. If you use your maybe Google Translate, those are all based on AI.
Yeah.
So people are actively, working on that, because the videos that you saw, they are not like the most technical. They are mostly just just be aware that this exists and this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Of course, I have a very interesting schedule. It's not like I'm going to make a lot of that, but it's nice that people like them.
Okay.
It's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's nice. And now some people are saying, no, I think I can do this in other languages. And I hope that they do, because
very good. Exactly. That's something you have exposed. Okay. If you can do this in Yoruba, somebody else can do it in Hausa, somebody else can do it in any other language, any African language. Africa has so many languages. So it's important that we use technology to enhance our everyday life and work. Yeah. So what challenges do you face in our society and around data and AI?
Well, there's a common problem in AI. I've written about it, I've spoken about it.
Okay.
And then it's just, when you work in data, it's just what you do. It's data curation, data availability. Sometimes data that you want is available, not in the format that you want.
Yeah.
And then when you think of other factors like it's expensive, it's tedious. But what I usually say is that for countries, for people who you seem to see their languages covered, is they actually invest in these things. It's a knowledge investment. It's for example, my previous role, my role in Nigeria, when I was a data science Nigeria, if someone wasn't paying me to be a researcher and innovator, I couldn't have been able to do all those things. I can do them out of mere passion. So because I'm not going to say we totally don't have the culture, because there are quite a number of things that we can still do that are not as expensive.
Yeah.
But data is expensive, useful data, curating it is expensive, and it's a global problem. It's not like it's just us in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's a global problem. The difference is what each person is doing about it. For example, there are, now that the people are speaking up about ethics, representation, there's a bit of more funding, coming to Africa that come and curate your language. But, to be, sorry about that.
Yeah,
I have the most interesting internet today.
Yeah. You were telling me that the problem is a global problem. Data, yeah.
Exactly. It's a global problem, and it's one of those things that will not just go away. It's not one of those things you can wish away. It's easy to say that, oh, these AI tools, they don't understand us. But if other continents saying, oh, this is our data, you can simply download from here. And to work with maybe Nigerian related data, you have to curate and die there. It's just easier to, that's the truth. And one of the reasons why I teach is that many times it's just easier to share from your perspective than when you try this algorithm on this type of data. This is what you find. Someone who grew up, or someone who is from another country entirely, the person doesn't was that. Of course, there must be conversations, and organizations are doing better for inclusion. But for most places that seem to be included and their data seem out there, it's a very conscious thing that I know, well, we're doing a bit, we're doing some, but we can do much more.
Yeah, we can do much more. See, it's important that at least for government data, okay, in across Africa, it's important that the governments need to start putting all this data in databases, okay? For example, when you
accessible ones.
Yes.
Because some of those data exist, but they're not accessible. They're not well curated.
Okay. Let's use my schools in Nigeria, for example. Okay. I went to school, graduated within the last 30 years. Okay. If I want to go to any of my schools in Nigeria now to get some record of my stay in that school, whoever is in charge needs to go to an archive, dust out some paper, which maybe she won't even come. She'll come back and tell me she can't find it. Okay. Now, it's not their fault that was the way we used to keep data by that time. But I don't think it's too much for us to go back, get young people. See, you say we don't, young people don't have work. See, putting all the data in the last 40 years of our universities, of our great secondary schools into computer databases is not something that we can do. We should do it.
It's not rocket science, but
exactly.
But if there's no lights to power the computer, because I've worked in a range of health systems in Nigeria. I've worked in really fancy ones that the system works, and I've worked in systems where you're probably seeing 80 clients and there's no lights, there's no fan. You have to see them. You're probably just the only one on duty.
You are mentioning another great challenge that we have. Yes, electricity.
Yeah, so innovation is, it can be quite difficult when you don't have the basics.
Yes, that's true. And until we actually have the basic things, many of the things we're complaining about, many of the things we want to build in our countries, will still, it's difficult. What opportunities is there in this space, and what do you advise for young Africans to do, to who might be considering to get into this data space or AI space? What opportunities do you see, and what is your advice for those young people?
Oh, well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is, for example, I've enjoyed every phase of my career. Okay. So it's not like, I hate pharmacy or something. No, I don't. I've enjoyed even the ones in the most, restrictive environments. I always do. And then I'll say they should go for mastery. It's the most important thing. There's no
wishy-washy
thing. There are restrictions. Those things are real. You're probably maybe trying to learn how to code and there's no light for your laptop. Those things are real. But at the core of it all, your market is global. It's one of the great things about tech. It's liberal, it's global. And if you show mastery, is one of the places that if you show mastery, it works for you. So so what I would say is that definitely give it a shot. There's no shortcut. You can't, of course, I get a lot of messages. I respond to a lot, but the answer is not really in, me telling you step by step on what to do, because I'm going to be worn out that way. But I'll say the world is open. The world is generous. Data is growing. There are roles, I have friends, people from all over the world. I came to the UK because I work in data. So it's, the world is your thing. I hope that you take it. And I'm not going to underestimate the impact of the things that are difficult for you, because it would be unfair to say that, oh, you're not just trying enough. But what I'm just going to say is that aim for mastery, and the world is your oyster. Like, definitely give it a shot.
Yeah. You see what you just said, mastery and data. If you understand data and you are good at analysis, the technology gives you the opportunity to work for any company in the world, any, and you can just sit down in your village in Abeokuta, Ilaru, and be doing the work for the biggest companies in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, it expands your options.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Wuraola. Yeah, I hope I got the name right. Yeah.
Yes, that's my name, Wuraola.
Wuraola, thank you very much for being here, for talking to me today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful day.
You too.